Today on the Chats for Change Wake Up Call, we are putting a spotlight on a few Prince George's County heroes. Here with me is our expert host, Sophie Ford, and we're excited to welcome to the show Lieutenant Katina Gomez. Lieutenant Gomez leads the Prince George's County Police Department Domestic Violence Unit. Lieutenant, thank you for your service and welcome to Chats for Change.
Thank you for having me today.
It's our pleasure. So what does the PGPD Domestic Violence Unit do? Introduce us to you all.
Okay, well, again, I am Lieutenant Katina Gomez. I am the commander of the Domestic Violence Unit for Prince George's County Police Department. My unit has only been in existence for about 4 years, since July of 2013. I have a total of 8 investigators who service the entire Prince George's County. In my unit, we investigate critical first-degree assaults between intimate or current partners and family members who live in or reside in the same home. We also help victims go and get protective orders, and we follow up on some second-degree assaults, misdemeanors. It just depends on the nature of the call. We operate for 24 hours a day, so that's good, 365 days a year. So that's pretty much what my unit does.
Excellent.
Awesome. And so just to be clear, I think one of the things you said is very key. Specifically at Family Crisis Center, we deal with intimate partner violence, but you all also address domestic violence that happens between family members that might not be intimate partners, correct?
Yes,
okay,
yes,
very
that's
good.
Domestic violence.
Very good.
Yes.
And so for the lay folks out there, can you just give us an example, if you would, like what would be the difference between a first-degree assault and a second-degree assault?
Okay, so first-degree assault, that's when there's a critical injury, possible death. The person could die from their assault. And then a misdemeanor might be anything that is outside of the realm of a first-degree assault, basically. So that's what my unit investigates.
Okay. And so someone's involved in a situation and they get to your unit how?
They can call our unit. The number is 301-772-4433, or just by 911.
Okay.
And a patrol officer responding out and assessing the scene, of course, getting them any kind of medical attention they may need. And then once they have that, they'll call our unit and just give us a breakdown of everything that they have, and then we can advise them from there.
Okay. And so then from there, in terms of prosecuting the case, what role do you guys play in that piece?
Okay, so as far as prosecuting the cases, that's when my investigators would come out and they will interview all parties involved, the suspect, witnesses, and victims, and from that we gather whatever evidence may be on the scene, found on the scene, and we take all of that, we charge the person, the suspect, with the proper charges, and then we take the case to the state's attorney and screen it for prosecution.
Okay. Okay, very critical piece, because we definitely want to make sure that we highlight accountability in that, right?
Yes.
And so in terms of the order, you said another very key thing I wanted to pull out around protective orders and helping folks with that. What is your office's role in that?
Okay, so as far as protective orders are concerned, my office plays a critical part. We actually help victims go and get the protective order. I mean, we can actually take the victim there to the courthouse and help them through the process.
Okay.
With protective orders, for them to be served, for them to be in effect, they have to be served. The suspect or whoever the abuser is has to know what they can and cannot do.
Right.
So I know there are times when it's very difficult to serve the person.
Yes.
However, it's still critical for the victim to show up for court, because if not, it will be dismissed.
Okay.
So we definitely want victims to still come. I know it may sometimes be difficult, however, you still have to come, because if not, it will be dismissed. And excuse me, judges will give the sheriff department or whomever a little bit more time to get that person served.
Okay. So how do you all interact then with the sheriff's department, since you mentioned that there's the Prince George's County Police Department and your unit is housed within that department, and then there's the sheriff's department. What's the difference in terms of domestic violence and how the roles kind of play out?
Okay, so my unit investigates pretty much all cases of domestic violence, even when the sheriff's department is concerned. The sheriff department, they respond to a geographical area within Prince George's County. However, if the crime fits the criteria I just gave of a first-degree assault, they have to call us, and my unit still investigates that particular domestic violence incident.
I see.
So there is the sheriff department, but we also have us. But at the end of the day, we're investigating all the cases in Prince George's County.
Busy unit.
Yes, we're very busy. Very busy.
Busy unit.
Very busy.
Okay, and very vital information for people to know, certainly, especially around that protective order piece.
Yes.
Because people do, we know at Family Crisis Center, people do have a ton of emotions around that, and anxiety and fear being the two most common.
Yes.
And so I appreciate you highlighting the fact that people do need to actually follow through with that process, and that you guys are available, and you're available to escort if need be as well, correct?
Yes,
okay.
Because oftentimes, we have some victims that aren't able to get to certain places, so I don't want that to be a hindrance for them to get to a place or get to the courthouse or the commissioner's office to file a protective order.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good. So is there anything else, just in terms, before we bump into the next part of the conversation, that you would like just to kind of lay the groundwork for your unit?
Well, I just want everyone to know that we're here. A lot of people are not aware that there is actually a domestic violence unit who investigate domestic assault. So we are definitely here, and just, that's it. Just letting people know that we're here, because we have to get the word out.
Yes.
So that's what I would like people to know about my unit.
We would like the people to know the same thing.
Thank you.
And I think the last thing, maybe critical point, you guys also do community events in terms of people getting to know you all.
Yes.
So again, would people contact that number you gave?
Yes, that's fine. They can contact the number 301-772-4433, or you can email me at klgomez, Gomez, @co.pg.md.us.
Say that one more time.
Yes, klgomez, Gomez, @co.pg.md.us.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Gomez.
Yes, of course.
Wonderful. And then with that information, we'll hold on to the next question when we come back from break. But with that information, churches, anybody can contact you?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
We'll be right back with more Chats for Change.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today I'm just an aluminum can, but one day I could be a stadium.
Welcome back. We're continuing our conversation with Lieutenant Katina Gomez of Prince George's County Police Department. So tell us, Lieutenant Gomez, what are some of the misconceptions you all face from the community?
I'm glad you asked me that. A lot of the misconceptions deal with we don't care. We only want to hear the female side, and we're not going to do anything about the cases that we have, but that's obviously not true. One thing to curtail those thoughts is just to know that we do have a unit that is directly geared towards domestic violence. I mean, when we have patrol officers who call us, we go out to those scenes and we go there and we process the scenes. We collect whatever evidence we may have so that we can go to the next step about giving our victim services, and even sometimes, the suspect, he has to get services as well too. So yeah, and we have a list of resources where we give the victims. We have you all, and we can help them seek shelter as well and get them out of that critical situation, them and their families at that very moment.
Excellent. And so when you guys, let's just kind of walk people through what may happen when you guys arrive on the scene.
Okay.
So the patrol officer may have called, you guys come, you collect the information and things like that. One of the things that we try to do in our role is educate people about kind of what the process could look like. People, I think in terms of misconception, when you said people think we don't care, it's sometimes because of the response that law enforcement has to render on the scene based on your protocol. So could you kind of walk us through what that may look like? For instance, if there's a threat or does it have to be visible signs of harm before someone is actually taken into custody, or just kind of what that may look like?
Okay, so I'm going to go from beginning to end, starting with the patrol officers. They're the first responders on the scene, and they assess the scene, you know, especially if there's any medical attention needed. They'll call for the medical, you know, ambulance or whatever is needed at that very moment. They will assess the scene. If the aggressor is there, they will arrest depending on what type of evidence is there for them to make that arrest. To usually make an arrest, there has to be physical signs of injury. Once that happens, the patrol officer will then call our unit and speak to an investigator and just, you know, go over everything that they have, a real brief synopsis. And based on that information, my investigators will respond out. Now, there are times when, you know, there's a lot of calls going on inside the county, and patrol has to go to the next call. Whereas my unit, we have that time to sit with that victim and be there and go with them every step of the way. We can, you know, like I said before, we can help them with protective orders. We can help them get the services that they need, whatever they may need at that very moment. My investigator is there and can take that time, because we're not trying to get to the next call. We have that time to spare to be that partner or that voice or that strength for that victim at that very time, at that very moment. So that's what we do. And after that's done, we'll, you know, interview the victim, interview whatever witnesses we have, based on the lookout for the suspect if he's not on scene and there is a first-degree assault. We'll broadcast that over the radio, the lookout for the suspect, so that we can have patrol officers looking for the suspect. And then after that, we will then go back, get in charges, and if we can't get the charges, we'll go back to the to attempt to get a warrant for the suspect. And once that's done, we'll put that information out, and we have a fugitive squad that looks for, you know, the suspect during that time. And like I said, throughout the whole process, we're there with the victim throughout the whole process.
That's amazing.
Yes.
It really, really is. It is amazing, because this is a difficult issue for people, and to know that you have the strength of law enforcement and community partners like FCC is a critical piece of the solution for this, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And I think one of the other pieces that you mentioned, I think, is important. You mentioned that if there are physical signs, but what if someone threatens to kill me or something like that, and I report that to you guys? Would that warrant a person being arrested?
Yes, it's the officer's discretion. Maryland doesn't have a threat law. So, excuse me, if the officer believes at that very moment that that person may be in harm's way, the officer will definitely encourage that person to go and get a protective order. And like I said, if the victim doesn't want to go alone or doesn't have transportation, they are more than welcome to call my unit that's 24 hours a day and get help that way. So that's how we deal with threats and at an incident where someone feels like their life is being threatened.
And you guys also administer the lethality assessment
too,
correct?
We do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And so just remind us real quick what that is.
Okay, the lethality assessment is a form that officers have to fill out once they go on the scene of a domestic violence incident, and it helps us assess the victim's safety. And if the victim is in a position of a high-risk situation, we will then contact the Family Crisis Center and let them know, hey, we have this victim, he or she screened in as high risk. Do you want to speak to them? And then from that moment, you all will speak to the victim, and then you all will do your magic, and then we go on from that.
Okay,
yes.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. So awesome information. Again, access points available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for folks that are in need of care. And so give us that number one more time, Lieutenant Gomez.
Yes, our number is 301-772-4433.
Awesome sauce. When we come back, Councilmember Denny Taveras joins us to talk about immigration support in Hispanic Heritage Month right after this.
Purple Light Nights is a ceremony that the Sheriff's Office began about 3 years ago to help bring our community together and raise awareness to the issue of domestic violence within our community. This is an effort to bring all of our community, every family, every person together to work in partnership to address the issue of domestic violence, to learn about it, to be aware of it, to know the many resources that the county has available to help assist our citizens address the issue of domestic violence. We invite every person, every citizen, every family to come and join with us in this ceremony to learn more, to take some of the bulbs back home to their home and to light those bulbs and burn them throughout the month. The Sheriff's Office joins in partnership with the Family Crisis Center and every partner, because domestic violence has no place in our community.